Hey everybody, welcome back to Reckoning with Jason Herbert. I am, of course, your host and creator, Jason Herbert. And we've got something different for you tonight. We're, of course, in hiatus right now. We're taking a little break from most of our scheduled podcasts, but I wanted to do something different for you. Both myself and my great friend Thomas Lecoq have been on the road the last little bit. I've San Diego, Thomas is up in Minnesota doing the Boundary Waters. And I wanted to talk to him about our travels, what we're up to, what we're thinking about as the new semester starts up, and thoughts on everything else in between. So, what you're going to hear next is maybe a conversation you've never heard on this podcast before, which is just two friends being friends. And if you like these, maybe we'll do some more of them. So, sit back and relax because Reckoning with Jason Herbert starts right now. I'm Jason Herbert. I'm a Southerner, but I live in Colorado. I'm a historian. I'm an outdoorsman, and I'm a movie buff. I hunt and I fish, I kayak and I climb mountains. I like to explore old places and ask new questions. I'm curious about the world. And this is a reckoning. So I have to tell you something, my friend. I am wearing no pants. I have...
You have officially hit the level of podcasting gold where you can just roll with that. I love everything about this.
You know, for those of you at home, there will be no visuals on this. What you do see me wearing is like a Columbia fishing shirt and a baseball cap that I just put on because we'll probably do some promos, and my hair looks like hell, and I'm exhausted. And the whole reason why we're having this conversation is because both you and I are dead from our many travels.
In the best kind of way, but whew, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I needed to brief with Tom, but how can I use this to my own personal financial gain?
For all the dollars that you make, every single one.
So many of them. Can I tell you, I'm looking at this.
Both dollars.
Oh yeah, well here's my problem right now. This is driving me nuts. I'm looking at the feedback, and you probably don't notice it because you don't spend a lot of time looking at me, but I do. And I've gotten rosacea and acne over the last couple years since my kid hit puberty. Since Jack, my 17-year-old, hit puberty. It's like he hit puberty and then I fucking got acne. Dude. Nobody told me that shit happens in your late 40s. And
I have so much to look forward to.
Well, you just entered this horrific decade that everybody's like, oh, you'll find yourself in your 40s. Bullshit. It's a lie. I don't know what I am. Well, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm too poor for a red sports car. I don't have, I think a podcast is the new midlife crisis.
I mean, it's certainly a more affordable one than the sports car. You've seen car prices.
Okay, it's funny you say that because I was actually don't fucking kill me on this. I was just looking at the Slate Auto website when you logged in. I know it's the Amazon people. I know it's gonna be a bunch of bullshit because they're like, oh, it's under $30,000 after all the rebates that will probably never be there.
Yeah,
I don't believe that any auto manufacturer is ever going to make a truly affordable car ever again.
No, and it makes me mad.
Ford made this Maverick, this truck a couple of years ago, this small little truck that they've got, and it won like every award, and everyone loves the Maverick. I think it's perfect, right? If you like to have a truck, like I do, the utility of a truck bed, put stuff in the back, do whatever, right? Only
the scout trailer,
thing. You want to be able to park it in the city. Here's your truck. And then Ford figure out, wait, this is a great truck. Let's just charge. So now a Maverick costs like $40,000. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? And all I see now is like when I get online, I see like on TikTok and shit like that. It's like people who have now like celebrating the fact they've got a $1,400 a month car payment because they've always wanted a Toyota, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what we're doing. I have a 12-year-old, 13-year-old truck now with 230-something thousand miles on her. And I can't see replacing it. Dude, I make six figures now between the podcast, everything else like that. And I still can't fucking afford it. Yeah. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. I love that they're like, hey, do you want a $2,000 cash retail bonus on a $40,000 car? What does that matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
That's cute. What does that have to do with anything?
Right. Yeah. And so forth. So, all right, but let's talk about what we're traveling in But where have we been traveling? You just got back from the Great Wilds, sir.
Oh God, I just got back from 7 days in Boundary Waters with the scout troop, and I had the best time.
Did you? Okay, see, are you a scout master? Is that?
I'm not a scout master. I am the committee chair for our troop. That means that I sign all the paperwork. I run meetings and I sign paperwork.
Okay. Are you in charge of like insurance and stuff? Like, do you have to deal with insurance or
No, that all goes that goes through the church that is our basically our sponsoring organization and through scouting.
Okay.
Right? So scouting organizations get insurance through various things. I don't have to do that part. I also don't run the meetings. I do like to show up to campouts when I can, but like my primary thing is I sign forms, I do recharter, I run the administrative side of the troop.
Okay, so but you were actually this time around going camping with said troop.
Oh yeah, we did our Boundary Waters High adventure.
Okay, so how old are the kids?
So we had 3 separate groups going. So you can have a maximum of 9 people per entry permit. So the Boundary Waters National Canoe Area is a series of forests and lakes on the Minnesota border with Canada.
Minnesota, University of Minnesota even has oars on it. But go on.
Nice. Northern Minnesota is gorgeous. It was stunningly beautiful.
Minnesota.
Yes.
I think I could live there again.
I think it's the only state in the Midwest I could get excited about living in. Yeah. I'm aware that I currently live in Iowa. I want to just go ahead and like gently, with all the love I can possibly muster for the things and people I love about Iowa, I stand by what I said.
Can I say this about Iowa real fast? Like I think I told you, I'm a huge Iowa stan. My experiences in Iowa, which are not much, but I used to live in Kansas and also Minnesota, so I had a chance to go through Iowa a whole bunch, like when I was driving around, whatever, right? People in Iowa were always super friendly and not in a superficial way.
Yes.
And Iowa City, where the home of the great University of Iowa is such a terrific college town. It feels
absolutely
like a college town, right?
Iowa City is delightful. I love Des Moines, where I live. I love Des Moines.
Time there.
Des Moines is great. The food is wonderful. The people are great. It's diverse. It's interesting. There's tons to do. I love Des Moines. I love a pork tenderloin.
Yeah.
I don't care what Indiana says. Iowa has a tenderloin trail. Iowa does does the best tenderloin.
Iowa has more hogs than any other state, correct?
Like yes, it's one of the many reasons why the water is so bad and why the cancer rate's so high. It's fun. But the tenderloins are fantastic.
I would love to do that. I'd like to do that. Iowa.
Seriously, come out here and we'll do the tenderloin trail. You get a T-shirt, man. You have a passport, you get it stamped, they give you a T-shirt.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I'm down.
Effigy Mounds National Historic Monument is one of the coolest places I've ever been.
How far from Minneapolis, though?
3 hours.
Why don't you just, I want to go back up to Minneapolis, to Minnesota State Fair, which is the second largest in the country.
Yeah, but I have the Iowa State Fair. I don't need a second state fair.
What's the Iowa State Fair about? It's not as big as Minnesota's, though. I'm sure it's crazy, though.
Iowa State Fair is incredible. How dare you, sir? Like, I can't even, I don't even want to defend the state most of the time, but like, our state fair is incredible. Our butter cow is great. Our deep fat fried foods are wonderful.
Right.
The largest hog in the state, he is a behemoth. He could eat you. He could eat both of us. The man is massive.
The sequel to Silence of the Lambs. Hogs will in fact eat you. That's Gary Oldman. People don't know this. That's actually the guy who gets eaten at the end by all the hogs.
That's Gary Oldman.
That's Gary Oldman in an uncredited role because he didn't want his name to affect people who knew that.
Yeah,
I love Gary Oldman. I'm a huge Gary Oldman.
Yes, Gary Oldman is delightful. Right. I love seeing him in a movie.
Let's go ahead.
Listen, Iowa has many fine redeeming features, but Minnesota was beautiful. So we drove up. We had 3 groups. You had to get different entry permits. All of our groups, I think, were 6 people.
Okay.
So the group I was with, it was me, my 15-year-old, and then 2 other dads and their kids. Jamie, my oldest, was the oldest boy on that. The other 2 were younger. We went into Wood Lake. We went and we hung out on Basswood Lake for a couple of days. We had our own island for a campsite, and then we went back in through Pipestone Bay to Nelson Bay to Fall Lake and out. It was great. Oh God,
Minnesota summers are magical. Minnesota's a state built for the summer.
Yes, that sounds accurate on every level. Yeah, it was absurdly green. It
Were
was
you?
wet, it was vibrant, it was alive. I was in a canoe every day. The mosquitoes were the mosquitoes you expect in the northern woods, but like they were less bad than I frankly was worried about.
Mhm.
Temperatures were beautiful. It got down to like 48 at night.
Right.
Oh God. And it
I'm
just,
not. I don't worry
yeah,
about the mosquitoes in Minnesota. Like they're there, right? I don't want to the short chant. But Florida's my home,
I
right?
know. I
I
know.
mean, in Florida, the mosquitoes weigh 2 pounds and they pack a sidearm. It's like they're another beast
Yes,
entirely.
that's fair. There were a lot of them. It was not a problem.
I saw a picture of you wearing a net for it.
Yes.
Like I knew it was like legit.
Oh yeah, no, I had a mosquito net on. I had long sleeve, quick dry shirts with hoods. I managed to successfully not get sunburned because I took very good care of myself and just had the
Okay.
best time.
Were you a scout when you were a kid? Is that
No, no.
really?
So my only experience with scouting is from the dad side of things. So when we moved to Iowa, um, we got Jamie involved in scouting, and the person who was originally going to be the den leader um, left the troop and moved to another troop without telling anyone. So, like 2 months in, all the parents had a meeting, like, "What are we going to do?" And
Mm,
I made, as so often happens, the fateful mistake of suggesting we open the book. At which point, I became the den leader.
yeah.
And then
Okay.
I and my friend Dave shared den leader responsibilities because the only two consistent members were our two sons, our two oldest. And then they transitioned to this troop, which I love. And I've been involved in scouting ever since. So I've been involved in scouting as long as I've been in Iowa, but only from an adult leadership perspective. And um, I did summer camp for the first time this summer,
Mm,
the local one for our council. I got inducted to Order of the Arrow. As like the adult members are mostly honorary, but like my oldest got inducted to Order of the Arrow, and I got inducted with him. And that was interesting. We did the Boundary Waters High Adventure. I'm going camping again with the Scouts this weekend. We're going out to
oh,
Maquoketa Caves. I'm excited because when I go for the regular campouts, I really like to cook.
mhm.
So I'm making Mexican food from my favorite Mexican cookbook. We're just going to adapt it for Dutch oven meals.
That works.
It's fantastic.
I wanted to know because, like, we did scouts when I was a kid in
Okay.
Louisiana and Tennessee. We didn't go very far, my brother and I. We started off as Cub Scouts. I think the Bear Scout is
Yeah.
Wolf Scout after
There's
that.
wolf. There's bears
Bear,
after wolf. It
and
goes.
then there's like Webelow,
Yes.
right? Which to me was like the goal because to me it was funny because We Below really could have stood for like We Be Low Class, which is what my family was because we were poor. It's like scouting was like,
Scouting's expensive, and scouting has gotten more expensive. It's
yeah.
true.
Is the scouting? It's Boy Scouts of America, right?
It's. I
Okay,
think we've officially
girls can be in
changed
the
to
Boy Scout
Scouts of
club,
America.
right?
Yes. So scouting. It's now Scouting America, and
Scouting
it
America. Okay.
is. There is no gender restrictions on it anymore.
Okay, but Girl Scouts is still a separate thing,
Girl
correct?
Scouts is a separate organization. Yes.
Okay. Is it always been a separate organization?
Always been a separate organization. So
Okay.
these are completely different organizations. Girl Scouts is a wonderful organization that does a lot of great stuff.
Right.
The theoretical rivalry between the two is, I think, mostly one sided. I think that Boy Scouts turning to Scouting America is because gatekeeping who is going camping and hiking in the great outdoors is stupid.
Yes.
And I'm grateful that Scouting America decided to change that and do better. I know that the Girl Scouts were, I think, frustrated by this, if that makes sense. So, like,
Sure.
is this a grab to like take away membership? I don't think that was Scouting America's purpose. I really do think that, at least on the local level, the way we view it is like, it really sucks the idea that like only boys should be going to summer camp and like shooting guns and going hiking and like rafting and stuff like that. That's
Right.
stupid. Everyone who wants to do this should do this.
Did you So when did you get back in? You got what yesterday?
I got home at like 3 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you and I got home about almost like the exact same time.
Yeah.
And I'm dragging ass I mean, just I was going to go to the gym today, and I'm just like I sat on the couch and like yelled at my dog
I
because
went
he was
I
like,
went to work today. I started my transition to the role of director of the first year experiences. So I've been at work all day.
okay. I was going to ask you about that too. I also went to work today because like I'm right back in the shit of it now. Like, so
That's
I
what you
got
do.
through. Well, so Benjamin came to visit for a few weeks, and then I had the wedding to go to in San Diego, and now it's like now I'm through all the things until later on. So
Got it.
um, so yeah, and I was I gotta tell you, I was really excited. So I gotta tell you about this because
I'm really excited. I want to hear all about this, man.
well, I don't go to weddings often, mostly because at my age, what you mostly go to are funerals, right? Most because everyone's starting to die. It's true.
Wow.
Have you started looking at how many people you went to high school with have already died?
No.
Like, there are people.
No.
Okay. There are people I went to high school with even that are even worse than dead. They're grandparents. So,
okay. Okay. We have different standards there. That's fine.
listen, I'm having a hard time with being 48. I've been 48 now for like 2 weeks. I don't like it.
Okay.
But so anyway, so I didn't really go to like a lot of weddings. I have some friends who like always going to weddings and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know them. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just knew people like after the wedding time was up or some jazz. Like 3 of my best friends, JP, Bart, and Mike, I went to none of their weddings.
Oh, okay.
Well, to be fair, I didn't know Mike till after he was married, so that's fair. But
that makes perfect sense.
Although I'm like, hey, still. My buddy JP got married in Colombia, which I should have gone to that one.
I have to be honest, I'm shocked you didn't.
Yeah, I am too. And then Bart got married in Miami, but that was the thing when we were living in Kansas. And my wife at the time went to law school with all 3 of these guys. Now, I kept them in the divorce. I think I've told you this before. They're 3 of my closest friends, and they all went to law school with my ex-wife, and I kept them in divorce, which is a thing that I love because she kept everything else. So that's fun.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I got 3 old men and an old truck, so it's great. Anyway, so one of the things I do have was that like 7 years ago, I got invited to a conference at the Huntington Library out in California. And if you guys don't know, Huntington is like one of the super prestigious libraries in the country. Libraries are these things that we still have, but not for much longer.
Don't say that. Don't say that, Vizzini.
I know, right? Anyway, Huntington is like this insanely gorgeous thing. It's out in Pasadena. I think it's Pasadena, right? Feels right. Pasadena-ish. It's
Pasadena-ish. It's
right. It's like Pasadena adjacent.
Starts with an M.
Yeah. So anyway, I got invited out to go do this conference. And this was the very first time that this was putting out by Stephen Hahn and Alejandro Jodorowsky, the 2 like these legends in Borderlands history. And I got invited to the first one. And so forth. And it was really great. It was a single-day conference. I met this guy there. His name's Alan Malfavon, and he's been on this podcast a couple times now because he's become my buddy. And we hung out for one day at this one conference 7 years ago. And we stayed so close since then. I got invited to his bachelor party and to his wedding. I didn't get to go to the bachelor party because that's some truck issues, but like I just flew out to the wedding. I wasn't expecting like an invitation. I was so like I almost cried, but I'm a crier anyway. When he said, "Hey, do you want to come to the wedding?" I was like, "Fucking yeah, absolutely, right?" I was like, "No doubt, absolutely, right." So I'd only seen Alan one time in 7 years, ever, in person, and I'd never met his fiance at the time, Shannon, who was just I love. I'll tell you about her in a second. So get over there and fly to San Diego, and I've been to California a few different times, right? I've been to Los Angeles, been out there. San Francisco, I have mixed feelings on. San Francisco's got like all this history and this food, but it's not my jam, I don't think.
Okay, that's fair.
I love San Diego, dude. I love that whole area. Like North County, we have some followers here on Reckoning that were like, "You gotta go North County," which I was like, "Oh, fuck, that is whatever." So I was staying in Encinitas. The wedding was in Carlsbad, and the vibe there, Thomas, was like. It's an old surfing town, is what it is. It's a surfing town. And I felt no, man, I felt so at home. I really wrestled with my time out here in Colorado because the vibe just isn't quite what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And it just feels off to me for some way. And I'm like, it's the water, man. It's the fucking water. I miss about Florida. It's like, even one days when I wouldn't go to the ocean, it was like knowing that the water was there. And I was in a meeting today. Someone was like, "Well, don't you have rivers in Colorado?" I'm like, shut up. No, we don't. I mean, we do, but it's not the same. It's not the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I get in there, and here was the other thing that shocked me. Everybody in Southern California is so goddamn nice. they were like, I was walking around the town of Encinitas and I was just talking to people. Like I went to this one like taco shop, started talking to the guys, stuff like that, invited me behind the counter, and I'm just hanging out and so forth. We're taking pictures. It's like everybody there will look you in the eye, they'll ask you how you're doing, they'll smile at you. I was like, this is fucking great. I've been missing this shit. I was unprepared. And so I put something out on TikTok. I'm like, why are you guys so nice? And people are like, oh, it's because we're happy. We're happy to be here. Like, yeah, the cost of living in Southern California is crazy, but the weather's perfect. It's beautiful every day. You can go surfing or fishing. The people are lovely. You know why we're nice? Because we're in a good fucking mood. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And I'm not kidding. Like people in Southern California were just absolutely amazing. So, long story though. The wedding was on Friday at this beautiful old ranch. Got up, got ready, put my suit on, all that kind of stuff. And I'm walking. I was like one of the first people to arrive. So I just see Alan. He sees me. I'm like, I'm just like get in here. It's like we're hugging. And here's my favorite thing about weddings, right? Because like you don't actually end up spending that much time with the bride and groom because they're doing their thing. Plus, they're trying to host and all the stuff like that, right? And I only knew one other person at that wedding.
Nice.
Alan's PhD advisor, right?
Okay,
so but I was like, fuck it, I don't care, right? I was like, I'm about to make friends with everybody. And so I made like some of Alan's boys were like, these are now my boys, right?
I love
Here's the kicker. All Alan's boys are Mexican or of Mexican descent. Francisco speaks almost no English. Like even my Spanish was better than Francisco's English. Now Francisco's from Veracruz. Francisco is fucking awesome though. Francisco and I we're hermanos at this point in time. Met some amazing guys: Alejandro, Esteban, Bryce. Okay, Bryce was a white guy.
With a name like that,
yeah. Bryce. No. But it's one of my favorite things about going to a wedding and things like that is this. It's getting to know the people that you love that are loved by the same people you love, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is my buddy Alan, and these are all his friends that I haven't met yet. And I know that because they're friends with him, I'm also going to be friends with them. Like there's this understanding. And you're also like, then you get to meet like his parents, right? And his cousins, and his sister's amazing. And all the people, right? And then of course there's his amazing, most wonderful wife Shannon and her family, who I'm like, and I'm taking selfies with her mom. I'm going off to like her dad likes to fish. So I'm like grabbing her dad rock, going off to like look at boats like the next day after the wedding.
Yeah.
Like she was like, who are you? I'm like, I'm family now. So
that sounds fantastic.
You belong to me, and oh my god. And they're so amazing. Like I just loved all of Alan and Shannon's families. Like I got to meet her, like her, I think 94-year-old grandmother, and she was so lovely. I just loved her to death. And like Alan's dad dresses like he's dressing in like linen the whole time. I'm like Mario, I want to be you. Like he was so freaking cool. So it was like we did the wedding, and like we danced. Like I was like, you ever go to a wedding, Thomas, and like nobody dances? Like you have to like pull people onto the dance floor.
Yes.
Okay, that did not happen here.
Oh, good.
This was like an open bar, and Jason responds really well to tequila, is what happens. And then it was on, but again, really heavily Latina, Mexican, stuff like that, and I was fucking down for it, man. I'm like playing all this like salsa and reggaeton and all this stuff, and I'm feeling, what happened though? I felt like I was in Florida again, Tom, because I was like, this is the music that I listen to when I'm back home. This is the vibe I'm used to. I'm like, so there was this weird aspect of like this whole time when I'm hanging out with Alan and his amazing family and all stuff, but I'm also like in deep introspection the entire weekend where I'm like, what is it that I'm missing? I'm like, this is the part of me. Like, I'm wearing the clothes that I'm used to wearing, the shirt, the shorts, the flip flops, this, that, and the other. And I am so in my element. So I was just like, God, I just felt so goddamn good.
I love that
the whole time.
So for you, your trip was about going far away and yet coming home.
Well, so I was talking to Alan about this. So in a few moments, you have him there, and he was like, and he comes up to me. I think it's the next day. So we have this second day. After the wedding, they have like a smaller thing where we all kind of went to the beach together. That's the kind of a smaller group of folks he invited me to, which then just made me, feel really good. And he's like, hey, so life's too short. He's like, it's time for you to go back to where you belong, you know? And I get it, right? And I don't, you know, maybe it's Florida, but it's definitely got to be the ocean.
Yes.
It might be Puerto Rico. It could be maybe it's someplace along the West Coast because I've always wanted to live like the Pacific Northwest or California, someplace.
Yeah.
But I don't. And I came back and I already told my boss. So I'm like, hey, the second I can get an ocean job, I'm out of here. They're like, yeah, we know. You've been saying this for a while. Like you have not been shy about your disdain for Colorado,
right? And like that, it's not that you don't love the work; it's that the place is not yours. It's not that the place is bad; the place isn't yours. Yeah. I mean, in your case, I've read enough of your reviews of restaurants. Maybe the place is bad. I don't know what to tell you, but mostly it's not yours.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think people are always shocked when you're like, how could you not like Colorado? I'm like, I can't afford Colorado. But people are like, you want to move to California or Florida? I'm like, I know.
I know a lot of people who love California who vacation in Florida, who vacation. A lot of people who love Colorado who vacation in Colorado. Well, and that's not the same thing, right? Going to experience it, that's a completely different relationship. Like you and I have talked enough about like your experience in Colorado. Like it doesn't matter how beautiful it is if in order to take advantage of it, you have to have money that you will never have. That just doesn't work.
Right.
That's not living.
Right. And of course, so anyway, long story. So go, you know, do the thing. And then I've got a 6:30 a.m. flight out of San Diego.
I don't love that, but
I'm living, and I'm staying like 40 minutes north, which means I've got to get up at 3:30 in the morning, yesterday morning. And then Uber over, catch the flight, fly back, and then I've got a 2-hour drive back from Denver. Then you got to grab the dog. And I'm like, I got into the house yesterday and I'm just dead fucking tired. So naturally I was like, let me call Thomas. He wants to do a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
so it's interesting. I think you and I had basically the exact opposite experiences.
Really?
Like we both had a great time. So yours was being surrounded by people and feeling like you were coming to like the parts of home you needed and missed, right? It's society, it's companionship, it's the lifestyle like that feels like home for you, even if it's in a strange place.
I felt like I was in a Jack Johnson video all weekend, man.
That sounds amazing.
You know, it's like Southern California is one of the meccas of like surfing, and I'm like a surfer.
Yeah,
like, I love surfing. I mean, you look at all the fucking surfing books right over my left shoulder.
Yes,
it's not. It's like the vibe. It was like the best parts of South Florida were in Southern California.
Yeah. So that makes perfect sense to me. My experience was going like I felt like I was on the edge of the world, and there was no one else with me, and it was heavenly. Right. Like I grew up a pretty indoorsy kid, right? My parents had spent a lot of time like doing outdoorsy stuff and having adventures, but like by the time they had me and my sister, they were older, they'd settled down. Like, you know, material comfort was part of like having grown into this when like you have a lot of chaos and a lot of travel. So like I didn't camp until I was in my PhD program.
Yeah.
I didn't really hike, like we'd go on walks, but like I remember very vividly the handful of hikes I ever did until I was in grad school. So like I wasn't an outdoorsy person. I love zoos. I love animals when I'm like seeing them from a distance. I don't have any pets. Like I wasn't an outdoorsy person. But like I spent 7 days on a lake in the woods, on a series of lakes in the woods. We portaged canoes. We started off by portaging canoes half a mile in a thunderstorm. And I'm like walking over down trees so we can carry the stuff. And then the rain ends, we start paddling out into Wood Lake, and the portage that goes down to Wood Lake, this kind of half a mile hell path, opens up into an area where it's all water lilies and they're all blooming. And so like the sky is gray, the trees are this dark, incredible green. The water is both like a deep blue, but also reflecting the sky. And there are water lilies and flowers all around us. It's like, holy shit, I have come to the edge of the world. Like, I know I haven't. I'm in Minnesota. It's on the Canadian border, but like it's a feeling divorced from reality. There was no one else around. There are the three of us in boats, quietly communing with nature. There are trumpeter swans in the distance. There are grebes running on the water chase fish. I fell asleep to the sound of loons calling every night. Like
am I fucking talking to Robert Frost right now?
I went into the woods and I did not come back the same as I was before.
You know?
It was the thing of genuine beauty. I mean, everywhere I looked, it felt like I was in like a wildlife magazine photo shoot. right? Like we're paddling by beaver dams, and like muskrats are jumping off them because they've occupied the damn thing. There's one area where our portage, we had to skirt to the side because there's literally a beaver dam blocking the stream, so we have to like go back to the portage to walk it because we can't go down. We didn't see any moose or bears, and that's okay. I'm not mad about that. But the sheer variety of like bird songs we heard, we were so tired the second day because the last of our portages was miserable. So like the second day we like the first campsite we found on Basswood Lake, we're like, let's just grab that one and regroup. We had our own private island. We were the only campsite on this island. It was our island. And we just had that for 2 days. And like we paddled around this lake. We like paddled into Canada. I saw like the Canadian Ranger Station, like that we're just like circling this island. And it's us and the trees and the sky and the birds and the fish. And we're both profoundly alone. And I have never felt both more connected to my firstborn, because it was like him and me in a canoe for 7 days, but also like more profoundly grounded in the world I actually live in. I mean, honestly, Thoreau is full of shit. His family brought him food every day, but I also understand the desire to like go into the woods and feel like you're communing with nature. It was incredible.
Do we have a modern day Thoreau?
Oh God. I mean, like it's so hard to get to a place where you have no signal that everyone's a modern day Thoreau. And I mean that with the greatest possible disdain.
Who are the people out there who are writing about the only person I can think of that's really writing about the romanticism of these spaces is really Stephen Ranella of Meat Eater fame, because people ask me about him, and I'm like, imagine if Tony Bourdain were a hunter, is the best thing I can say. Like this deep appreciation for the outdoors and his place in the world and stuff like that. But like people aren't reading, and this has been one of my central frustrations about being a historian. And I wanted to key in on this with you. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, is anyone reading history now?
I mean,
historians are, but
yes, lots of people are reading history. They're just not reading academic history books, and that is a problem in several ways. One, our students are trained to do less reading, and so it's harder to train them to do more. Two, many academic presses, not all, but many academic presses, price their books solely for libraries. So even if you wanted to buy it, who can afford them?
Yeah. Listen, if I recommend a book that's $55, no one's going to go buy that fucking thing.
Who has the money for it? Right. That's the problem. And three, Barnes and Noble, which is a reliable place to sell dad history, and I say this as a suburban dad, has started filling more of their shelves with like bullshit conspiracy theory, far right nonsense, because it sells well, because it's easy and doesn't ask you to overthink.
Sure. At the same time, I still see like people like Lindsay Dravinsky on the bookshelves over there.
Yes.
Obviously, Heather's over there. There are a lot of folks that I get a real kick.
There's a bookstore in Ely. And it's a lovely independent bookstore. And I was looking at like their shelf on like Indigenous Studies, and like Kathleen Duvall's Native Nations is just right there front and center. I was so pleased it was there, right? Like there are history books do get sold.
Sure.
People do read them. It's
Kathleen went through Random House with her most recent stuff, right?
Yes.
And I think that's the other thing. It's like, when I went through my PhD program, the scholars there were still so stuck. Like, and this is one of my central frustrations with the academy, which is, in my own experience, like I remember I interviewed at the University of Florida a few years ago, and did not have my best interview because I kind of got into it. Not into it, but like the professor, she kept asking me. She was like, "Well, where are your primary sources?" And we're talking about an introduction to history class, right? She's like, "Where are your primary sources?" And this, that, and the other. I'm like, "They're in a textbook, right?" I'm like, the fundamental knowledge of history is taking a backseat, it felt like to me, to like this focus on historians and the historical craft, whatever that's supposed to be.
Yes.
It drives me nuts, man.
Like, I teach so many surveys to like non-majors that like I just want students to realize that the world is bigger than they think it is, and that it can be known. And like, it's not that necessarily they're going to know it, that they're going to do the work, but they could, that the world is bigger and more beautiful and more interesting than they dream of. And that like the pieces of history they don't know are pieces of history they have chosen not to know, that we have chosen not to know. Not because you can't study them, not because you can't know them, but because we choose not to. It's why my medieval world class, it's the medieval Midwest, medieval Polynesia, medieval Africa. That is what we study.
Really?
Yeah, those are the three regions because you can. You absolutely can. And I point out, it's not that the Dark Ages are some point that like Europe is like some backwards, short, brutish, and dirty. That's not true. That's nonsense. It's just that this is a medieval world class. And you have some sense of the Middle Ages, however wrong it is. You have heard of them. You could find resources. It would not be hard for you to find great books on this that would change your perception on this. These are areas that you have never thought about having a past. And there are reasons why you haven't done that. And we're going to talk about those too. And then we're going to point the fact that it is a choice because you can know those histories. The other two groups in our trip both found Anishinaabe rock art in their sections. And I love that I have trained the other scout dads so thoroughly that they all took pictures. And that was the first thing both groups came to show me.
I have some Ojibwe friends. Like when when you hear that, I'm like, that's cool. I like knowing that their histories are out there.
Yeah, and so it's over now, unfortunately. Did you ever read Hakai magazine?
No, what is Hakai magazine?
Hakai magazine was my favorite publication on the internet. It was environmental journalism run out of the Hakai Institute. They were there for 10 years.
What's the Hakai? Is that out of Japan?
No, the Hakai Institute is out of British Columbia.
I know nothing.
Okay, so the Hakai Institute and the Tula Foundation run. So the Hakai Institute runs a long-term research institution on the coastal margins of British Columbia, like remote areas. They do. They look at the sea. They look at Indigenous history in the region. And Hakai magazine, when it had funding and was run there, was like reporting on these things, and their videos are some of the most incredible things ever. And like, I still have a dream in this magical future that will never exist. I could go like just do an internship with them. Like, I think the work that the Hakai Institute does is the coolest damn thing on earth.
Okay. Cool.
Hakai magazine was wonderful. I subscribed to it. They have merged with the magazine that the California Institute of Science was doing. So it's the California Academy of Sciences. It's a biographic now. So I'm still subscribed. The teams merged because there were funding issues for both.
Sure.
And they do like great work on the West Coast. I felt like this is the closest I've been to like experiencing the kind of stuff I'm seeing in videos of there. Like, it's not the same at all. They're lakes, it's inland, but like, it was just, we live on such a cool planet, Jason. We just live on such a beautifully cool, interesting, rich planet, and we're killing it.
Yeah,
they just have you heard about what they're doing in the Boundary Waters right now?
No.
Oh God, they're opening up for Angro whatever. Oh God, the Chilean mining company.
Oh, this will go well.
God, they are trying to open it up for copper mining. That's going to just pollute everything.
Yeah, that's going to destroy. They're like
it's going to destroy. So like the Trump administration is jumping through as quickly as possible to open up the permits to basically open up to copper and nickel mining and like poison it.
Yeah. Well, you need something for the new pipes that are going to go into the ballroom. Have you seen? Have you seen the sketches for like they're adding on a building?
It's
to the White House. Am I right?
I mean, listen, right? I have looked. So like, so
it looks so fucking tacky.
I mean, it looks like they were trying to recreate a set from Caligula. I don't know what to tell you. It's the stuff of nightmares.
It's everything is the stuff of nightmares. I still don't.
Yeah.
It's maddening to see, and these places have got to be protected, and it's so like why people can continue to back this nonsense. And when I see that there's a goddamn concentration camp in the Everglades, and by the way, mad props. I don't know if you've seen this or not. The Miccosukee tribe of Indians under Chairman Talbot Cypress have been pushing back hard on this. Good. Yeah, I mean, filing lawsuits and this, that, and the other. And I've spoken to the chairman a couple times, like social media wise and things like that. We're friendly. I wouldn't call it. I don't think we're friends per se, or anything like that. I really, really like him. I have a lot of respect for him. Is what I'm trying to say. It's obvious the guy cares about first and foremost about his tribe, but also the ecosystem and stuff like that. And he's having to walk some really tough lines because as the chairman of any tribe, you're dealing with federal government, you're dealing with the pressures from the state, and builders, stuff like that. When you're talking about trying to defend your homeland, and why people would be okay with building building a concentration camp to begin with, but then
Yeah.
let's build one in one of the world's most pristine ecosystems that is delicate and unlike anything else in the world. The Everglades is not a swamp. People go to a swamp. It's not. It's a river.
No. Yes.
It's quite literally a river of grass. When that old that adage got placed to it. It's like, you know, uh, it's maddening, and part of me wants to go home, Thomas, and fight to like save it,
Yes.
right? And people are like, oh, you should run for office and things like that. And I'm like, I've done too many drugs and had too many women to run as a Democrat. So.
You know what? I knew where you were going with that joke, and I got to be honest, it still hits every time.
Every single time.
Every single time.
I stole it from Clooney, actually, and he's probably done more drugs and had more women than me. But that's fine. It's George Clooney. This is a good time. I don't know. It's so
sometimes you really need travel to like really like jar you out of your routine.
I need it,
remind
man.
you of the things that you love.
And here's the thing, like I love getting on a plane. There were years ago, I think maybe you know this, years ago, like I dramatically could not get on a plane. I could not do it. And then I went through my divorce and I was like, oh, the only way I'm going to see my kids is if I get on a plane. Let me tell you something. That ends a phobia real fucking fast. And
does it end the phobia or does it just overcome it?
I have no phobia whatsoever.
I love that.
None whatsoever. In fact, I relish getting on the plane now. Now I'm like trying to get to my favorite seat. I'll talk to people if they look nervous or whatever. I have my favorite planes that I fly. I went through this whole thing.
I love that.
Well, this is how I got over my fear of flying. First and foremost, do you know who Laird Hamilton is?
I've heard the name.
Okay, so Laird Hamilton is really the greatest big wave surfer to ever live.
Okay, that's why.
Okay, this was his book, one of his books, right? And oh my gosh, it's torn on the front. Anyway, in the early 2000s, early 2000s, Christ, but Laird Hamilton.
I wasn't going to say anything about it, but yeah, that hurt. I felt that.
Yeah, right. Okay. So Laird Hamilton rides what is considered to be an unrideable wave in Tahiti called Chopu. Right? It's too big, too massive. It's too thick. Right? And afterwards, his dad talks to him. He's like, why would you risk yourself? Why would you risk your life just to ride a wave? Right? And he's like, and Hamilton says, like, look, I don't want to not live because I'm afraid of what could happen. Right? And for me, internalizing that idea of like, I'm afraid of what, it's like, I don't want to have these experiences because something bad might happen. Fuck that, And that radically changed how I dealt with getting on a plane, asking out the girl, applying for the job, whatever it is, that got me over it. My boss, Gary, I used to work for this guy. His name's Gary Weil. I used to sell cars for this guy. And I'm still really, really close with him to this day. I just love him to death. In fact, part of the reason, and I want to do another pod on this at some point in time, but like a lot of ways, my time as a car salesman in my early 20s really kind of affected who I am all the way to this day. Not that I'm shady. In fact, one of the things Gary often would tell me, he was like, you're a lot of things, Jason, but you're not a liar. And that was the thing that I really started to internalize about myself, even like when I went through these trials of like, when I got through my divorce, or going through the horrible experience of graduate school, or losing the librarian or anything like that. Gary used to say is like, in the middle of negotiations on a car, eventually you just got to put your balls on the table, right? And I just apply that to life now. I'm just like, at some point in time, you just got to say, okay, I'm doing this, right? You just have to go after it, whether it's whatever it is. So flying became a thing where I was like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to get over it. And then I followed like a bunch of like pilots on. If you're afraid of a thing, find the people that take the thing that you're afraid of and do it for joy, and follow them. Right?
Okay.
Follow like so in my case, I follow a bunch of airline pilots, and their posts on like Instagram is like, look how amazing this is. Look how great this is. Look how much I love doing this. And I was like, oh wait, and it started to change the way I conceptualize. It's like, wait, these guys, oh wait, airline pilots also want to get home. They're safer than I am.
Yeah.
They love this. They're like, like, and now you go through the clouds and you ascend into the heavens and the whole world opens up for you. Man, dude, how freaking cool is that? You were living the dreams that people 500-600 years ago could have never even imagined. You know,
I love that.
I love to fly, and there's no such thing as like, I remember when I went to Prague a few years ago and had like the longest flights I ever had were like 10 hours, which I know people listening have done more than that. But like for me, that was a long flight. And I remember as we were coming down, getting ready to land, I was like, damn, the flight's over. And I was enjoying it. Now, granted, I was on Air France. The attendant was super cute, and she was giving me wine and cheese for the previous 9.5 hours.
Some things help more than others when you're traveling.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was that. So anyway, so that was how I got over my fear of flying, was just the internalization. Oh, like the one thing was like, hey, look, and I tried doing it initially. I tried doing like the anxiety medication, whatever it is. I forget what it's called. And then it just drugged me up. Like I couldn't drive when I would land. I would be out on my...
It didn't fix it.
Xanax.
Okay. Yeah.
It didn't work because like I would land and then like I couldn't do anything because I was out of my gourd.
Yeah.
Yes. So you just have to suck it up. And now I get on a plane, and that in like Denver is super bumpy. Like because anytime you come into Denver, like there's always turbulence coming into Denver because the wind comes over the mountains and it's really bumpy, right?
Oh, I'm aware. I don't love it.
Right. Well, so that is completely, that level of turbulence is like, in Denver you're gonna get turbulence. This is like your welcome home. Like every single flight in Denver, the people always say, we're gonna ask our attendants to have a seat now, and
that doesn't freak you out because you've done this enough that it just
no. I know we're going to be landing in 25 minutes. It's like I know when the turbulence warning comes on, we're about to do the thing. And a few years ago when I applied, I remember a few years ago I was applying for a job at Illinois State. I had a great experience there. Really wonderful people. My great friend Lindsay got the job, but we like left out of Atlanta and made halfway to like wherever it was in Illinois we were flying to. And then they were like, hey, the plane doesn't work. We have to turn around. Yeah. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I mean,
listen, as long as you tell me what's happening, I deal with it better. Mine is the surprise.
Sure. If the pilots say like, hey, we got some stuff coming up. Don't worry about this. We're built for it.
I don't freak out. Right. That's the thing. If they tell me like, hey, we're going to need you to sit down, it's going to be okay. It's kind of a mess, but you'll be fine. It doesn't bother me as much. Like when you warn me it's coming, I know it's coming. I know it's the unexpected nature of turbulence freaks me out. But I got to be honest, mine is not that I've stopped being afraid. Mine is just that the things you're traveling for are sometimes worth it.
Yeah,
and exactly. That's just what it is. You get scared, you persevere because
Do you not like to fly?
I am aggressively acrophobic. I've been flying since I was 2 years old. I am aggressively acrophobic. And I know some people, it doesn't bother them when they're in a plane. But like for me, cool, you put me in an aluminum tube that's real high up. I get vertigo on step.
Wears you out?
It's the heights, man. Listen, you put me on the step ladder, I get vertigo.
Oh,
you want me to go higher than that, I am freaked the fuck out. When I am hiking, as long as I'm not too close to an edge, it's not too sheer of a drop, I'm fine. If I'm hiking, I'm more likely to be okay than anything else. I just don't like heights. So you put me in an airplane and somebody are like, well, you're inside. I think it's not the same. And I completely get that. That tracks. That makes sense. That's just not me. You've just put me up really high. But
it still doesn't register, right?
Well, sure. Sometimes you're in the plane and the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah. You can't go to Tahiti unless you get on a plane.
I mean,
or whatever.
Fair enough. I'm not usually going to Tahiti. I'm usually, going to a research somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm ready for my next trip. Like I got to fly. I'll fly to Florida next month to go see the boys and stuff like that. And there's a conference in Florida I'll go to later this year and stuff. And I've got to go to now. I just go wherever. So far, I don't really like I will tell you, I don't really like flying in like the regional flights where it's like the 2x2s and stuff like that, where you're flying like a CRJ 900 or whatever.
Yep.
Flights are small.
I don't love that.
You feel You feel the wind moving you around. You can put me on a 777.
Yeah. Yeah, you put me in a big plane and I'm much more chill. I flew in for a job interview at Midwestern State University in Wichita Falls, Texas. My big year on the market, and like I appreciate when we took off on the little plane from Dallas. They were just like, "Hey, so this one's gonna be bumpy, guys. Thankfully, it's not too long." And then like the little plane, it was bumpy, but like they were just weaving us in and out around the clouds to just be like, "We're going to do our best to make this as less unpleasant as possible."
Like,
at least they warned me because that one we were moving the whole time.
Can I tell you? So I think I just went down to Texas recently, and that turned out to be a whole shit show. But I'm flying on one of my favorite planes, which is the 777, big ass plane. You get on that plane, you're like, this is gonna be awesome because you're not gonna feel shit. And then I had one of the worst landings I've had in a long time because we were in the junk going into Texas for all reasons. I'm like, we're in a big plane. Why are we getting our ass kicked? And then that turned out to be a metaphor for the whole trip.
Oh, God. Yep, that would do it.
Yeah, you know the stories behind what happened on said trip, so we don't have to go into that one.
Yes, I do.
But for everyone else listening, it didn't go well.
Yes.
I had cheesecake all by myself.
I mean, listen, that sounds like a positive experience, all things. So you didn't have to share the cheesecake.
I was hoping to get laid.
Well, listen, we all have dreams, and sometimes those dreams die screaming in the wilderness.
I suppose so. Either way. All right. So tell me though, when does the semester start back up for you? Because what's the role for you now? Are you not teaching this fall?
No, I am teaching 16 credit hours this fall, but I am also so I'm teaching 16 credit hours this fall, and also I am the director of the first year experience.
Why haven't you developed a fear of overwork?
Yeah, that would be great. That's not a phobia. That's reasonable. That's a completely rational fear. You don't call those phobias.
Right.
That would be. Why haven't I developed a survival instinct, Jason? That's right. A great call. No, because I took this job at the end of the academic year, it was too late to switch around this semester. So like my spring will be different. But I am teaching all four of my. I'm teaching an honors class, a first year seminar class, and 3 history classes.
What are the history courses?
Gaming and history. We're doing Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. I'm so excited to introduce just a new class of students to Kelly Baker's The Gospel According to the Klan, what I think is the finest book on American history I've ever read. I love it with all my heart.
Really?
Shout out to Kelly Baker for just being my goddamn hero.
Friend of the pod.
She is the best. Teaching that, I'm teaching my medieval world survey, and I'm teaching colonial and revolutionary America.
You were all over. Can I tell you? Can I tell you my low-key medieval world jam?
I'm so scared and so excited. Hit me.
Give me some Ottoman Empire.
Listen, Ottoman Empire is fucking great, but
that is some crazy ass shit. That is some. I have some friends of mine who do that work. They're way smarter than I am.
They know more Turkish too.
That helps, I think. But the coffee is good.
Yes.
But Ottoman Empire stuff is really, really interesting to me. In fact,
it's great.
One of the books that was really influential on my own work was actually I took a class on the Ottoman Empire at Minnesota, and this book I read was called "The Animal in Ottoman Egypt" by Alan Mikhail. It was amazing, right?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. So I really, and then of course, if you're a guy, like, hey, dudes, or if you're a guy listening to this, Google Janissary and see what happens. So. Janissary, Janissary.
I love early Ottoman history. I love how the last couple of named crusades that we just call crusades, that we don't refer to as holy leagues, die in attempts to save the Byzantines from them, and they fail. Crusade of Varna, Crusade of Nicopolis. But I also like the fact that, like, if you're going to do Ottoman history and like the fullness of Ottoman history, you start in you're starting in the Middle Ages, and you have to go to the end of World War I.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, like this is the one that branches medieval to modern, like contemporary in the realest of all ways.
It's so perfect too, because Turkey, or as we know it today, kind of bridges both Europe and Asia there, and really kind of where Africa. I mean, it's these perfect. I mean, it's like you couldn't create a more perfect spot to put a city.
I mean, yes, the Greeks did a great job.
Yeah,
Yeah, when the Greeks built Byzantium, they knew exactly what they were doing, controlling access to the Black Sea and the grain and fish and the caviar for the poor people.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yes, the way it should be.
Are you a believer in textbooks?
I don't use textbooks because I have yet to read a textbook that did the things I wanted to. I understand the utility of textbooks. It's just like the medieval. Here's the thing.
All right.
Have you ever read any of Alex West's work? Alex West used to work on medieval Indonesia. That's what his PhD in. He is fantastic. So he has a new blog. He's moved on. He's doing other stuff, but his work on medieval Indonesia led him to write a bunch of really interesting things on his blog while he's working on his PhD, and he's moved on to other interests. But he has a pair of articles on the hemispheric Middle Ages that we talk about the global Middle Ages because it is an easy way to pretend we who have absolutely no background in this are doing something bigger than what we do, right? My training, I'm a crusade historian, but like what I did for my PhD is I looked at southern France and how they did crusades. And like I read in translation a bunch of works from Arabic and Armenian and Syriac and Coptic and everything else, but I read it in translation. I am not a Mediterranean historian. I can make the pretense because I study people from one part of the Mediterranean who went to another part of the Mediterranean. But we talk about some of these systems without doing the work to actually do them, right? I'm not going to make reference to this in early America because, frankly, I don't have enough bona fides to pick the fights I would. But like, this has always been the problem of like, I do the Mediterranean. Dude, you're a Europeanist just like me. We're just trying to sell ourselves to someone who does more. We're a Europeanist.
I've got a book in the Mediterranean.
Great. I bet it's a great book.
It's right? Fernand Braudel.
I have nothing to say. Right. So like there are people like if I start talking about like Arabic stuff, I am reading stuff in English and French talking about Arabic stuff. If you want someone who actually can talk about interesting things, you should buy Rachel Schein's book. Right. Like there is good work out there. It's just Rachel Schein's book, Black Knight's Arabic epic in the making of medieval race.
I see you talking about her recently.
She's fantastic. Rachel is delightful. Her book is currently on an absurd her book's like $35 from University of Chicago Press, talking about books you could actually assign. She's fantastic. Like you wouldn't hire me to do the medieval Mediterranean if you didn't just mean what if we put window dressing on European history, right? In the same way, if you're going to do global Middle Ages, you should do global Middle Ages. Well, so what Alex points out is that if you're actually talking about medieval and you want medieval to have meaning, you can't talk about that. You can talk about the hemispheric Middle Ages because stuff from medieval Indonesia makes its way out as far as like England, and there is connection in a sense of like Afro-Eurasia have connections, and you can actually talk about a time frame when those connections are real and trade routes that are real. And if you then throw in the Americas, what you're doing is you taking this term that does not apply and throwing it on. And he is right, and I am wrong. And I want to say this. I've said this to him. I'll say this all the time. I am wrong. But my students know what the Middle Ages are.
Right.
And on a pedagogical level, saying we're going to do medieval everything else is a great tool of like, hey, you have an idea of what this time period looks like. But like at the same time that you're talking about London and Paris being these small cities of like 10, 20,000 people, Cahokia is much bigger than they are. And it's right outside of St. Louis. That's a big fucking deal. And why aren't you learning about that? Why aren't you talking about what's happening in Mali, but like Mali and also the Swahili coast and also Ethiopia, but also like what's happening in the Congo? Why aren't you studying Africa? Why are we acting like the Polynesians are not the greatest sailors in history and they aren't also building complex, interesting, rich societies that you can actually study? Why are we acting in our classes like the written word, which we valorize in an Anglo-European context, actually is the sole way of interrogating the past? Why are we acting like we could not possibly do better in our surveys as if a PhD isn't a research degree that teaches you solely how to do the work to learn about things you don't know about? So my medieval world survey, it's North America, it's the Midwest, it's Africa, it's Polynesia, and it's great. And it's not because the other places aren't valuable. It's because my students have never thought about those places existing in the year 1000. And they should.
So you talked a little bit about, you said earlier the students can't, don't have the capacity. And I've experienced this too. And other scholars I've spoken to say, look, quite literally don't have capacity to do the amount of reading that like even we did. And, you and I are not that much older than these students. I mean,
no, I'm not. Things have changed dramatically.
But I mean, how much reading can a freshman read?
I have them.
Just a second. I just looked. Did I see War Under Heaven by Greg Graven's down on your thing?
Yes, you did. It's
good eye. I just
that's next to Cotton Mather's Spanish lessons. I've got
War Under Heaven should be a book or a movie.
Sure. I mean, listen, I have assigned. I have actually this is Infinity of Nations, Michael Whitkin. I've assigned this to an undergrad class before. I fucking
that
love
book's
this book.
tough.
That book is tough. But I talked us through it, right? I made us deal with the fact that one of the things that's tough is that we only want to address things by familiar English names, and we're incapable of believing that other people have the level of agency that we should be forced to deal with their land on their terms. It's hard, but like the lessons you get from actually fighting through it are so damn valuable. In my not at all humble opinion.
Yeah, listen. I'm as guilty as anybody of like looking over somebody's like books. I'm like, what's he got over there?
Oh yeah, yeah. So in my
now,
I don't know.
You don't
a lot.
Know
I have no idea how many books I have. It's
at least 1,000, right?
Oh God, more than that.
I think I'm around 1,200.
I have more books than that in my office, and that's just workbooks. And then there's my home library, which is my books for fun. I have them do 4 books in Medieval World, but so Maddie Williams, Polynesia 900 1600. Shout out! I fucking love that book. It's a great book. It's really small. It's introduction. It's 3 chapters: introduction, conclusion. It introduces people to a bunch of ideas, a bunch of sources. It's a great way of introducing, like, actually, Polynesians don't view the world the way you do, but their way is just as valid, and maybe you should catch up. Let's talk about like what oral history looks like and what archaeology looks like and what different ways of thinking about relationship with like nature and time and space actually mean. Like, what if a Polynesian map is different than like a European map? That doesn't make a Polynesian map invalid. They're just coming from different starting points and they're doing the same thing. And so it's a great introduction to the class. But also to how fucking cool South Polynesia is. Like, you look really at like New Zealand, the Chatham Islands, and Rapa Nui, and God, it's such a good book. She's fantastic. Then we're doing François Xavier Fauvel's The Golden Rhinoceros: Histories of the African Middle Ages. It's effectively vignettes that's covering it's tiny bits and pieces and stories of like artifacts, places, ideas in the wide multiplicity of medieval Africa. And they're short enough that I can assign them and make people read them and talk about them because they're short and digestible bites. I also have to introduce how to read it. We then do Timothy Pockentott and Susan Alt's Medieval Mississippians, The Cahokian World, which is not a textbook, but it's edited chapters. It's like the individual, it has lots of pictures, it has maps, it has diagrams, and I can assign like individual chapters. And then we read Alison Adele Hedgecock's Blood Run.
Okay.
Blood Run, it's a book of poems. Blood Run is a site in northwestern Iowa that was a large city, like probably 10,000 people, up through like 1700. And it's we read the poems, we talk about how we insist that prose is the way that you encode knowledge, but that is a very specific form that is fairly recent, and that like oral epic and poetry is actually a way of carrying knowledge, and like that's kind of how we end the class. So like none of the individual books are super long. All of them are broken up into digestible things. I still have trouble getting them to read all of it, but I have cut it down as low as I'm willing to do. And I do the reading every day with all of my classes. So I'm teaching 5 classes, and I do the reading for every class every day. As I explain to my students, I will not ask you to do something I'm unwilling to do myself. But it means that if I'm doing this for every single one of my classes and you choose not to, that's a fucking you problem. And if the entire class decides not to do this, I will kick all of you out. I have other stuff to do. You're not wasting my time if you're not prepared. And that counts as unexcused absence. You have effectively a PTO bank of absences. And once you guys have breached that, it's a letter grade every time. Make your choices. I am not going to reward you for doing the reading. That's the baseline. You don't get credited just for showing up to work. You have to do that and then your job.
Tom, what's your favorite thing about the start of the semester?
Oh God, I love meeting the new students.
Really?
Yeah, I love the people.
Do they come to the office before the first class, or is it you got to get
only the ones that are coming back again that know me?
Okay.
Right. Like I have returners. I have people who tend to take multiple classes with me, and I love those kids.
Right.
But like I love the first day when they're all trepidation. They start getting used to my sense of humor, and I start getting used to theirs. And like I meet a new group of people. Right. Like there's an excitement and there's an energy in the classroom at the beginning of the year, and I am reminded every fall that actually, on a good day, when my inbox hasn't been flooded with like unfunded, unsupported mandates that none of us can do, and sunlight's just right, the AC is working, and I hear the buzz of voices on campus, I remember I actually love this job.
I
Really, really love this job. It's killing me, Jason,
fall.
but I love it.
You know, as much as I love what I do, like there's a part of me that, you know, it's like, God, I used to love the fall when the students come back. The campus starts to fill up again.
Yeah.
You know, the fall football games, you know, seeing the signs for like the rush and all this stuff on the in the chalk on the sidewalk.
Yeah. When life returns to campus, right? You do
I
that.
love
You
it, man.
do this job for the people.
There's an energy there,
Yeah.
and I love. You know, my other favorite thing was like, and I used to see this a lot in Minnesota, would be like when I would see the tour groups come around, usually in the spring, right?
Yeah.
As they're trying to figure out where to go or whatever, sometimes in the fall. And there's, you know, your undergrad, you know, probably your junior or senior leading around a group of moms and dads and kids and brothers and sisters. And what these kids don't know is that their lives are about to change more in the next 5 years than they have in the previous 18, you know? And it's like, I know this, and I'm so excited for them. And I hope when I see these young people that they embrace this potential, this world before them, because it's there. It's there for them. If they and you know, there's an excitement. So,
have I ever told you about like the greatest honor in my teaching career? Like it's already happened. Like that time has passed. My first year teaching at Grandview, I think my first medieval world survey, I had 2 students who started sitting on opposite side of the rooms and were just like, they would talk and they'd talk at each other, they'd talk at the class and they'd bicker. And then partway through the semester, they started sitting at the same table and we're doing it again. And apparently, I don't remember this. I asked them if they had started dating yet. They asked me to officiate their wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're happily married and live on the other side of Iowa. And they're delightful human beings. And like on the good days, I have the greatest job in the entire world.
Okay. That's the perfect place to end on this one. Because we were like, let's there was a danger here because you and I have like a certain time we had to be done tonight. And I was like, I'm afraid we're going to get on a roll and we're going to go. And that's the reason why we did not invite John Wyatt because he would.
I missed that man. I missed that man. We should do a pod together soon.
We should listen. I think we're going to. Part of what I wanted to do tonight was play around and see what does a pod look like if we just talk.
Yeah.
Like. So
yes.
So. All right, I guess with the stuff I'm going to tell you off air. Hey, everybody, thank you for listening in to this particular episode with me and Thomas as we're trying to figure out which direction we're taking Reckoning and things like that. This was just me hanging out with my good buddy, who's also a historian, and whatnot. So thanks for being here, and we will catch you later.